Mahima,
Yes, ma'am.
kindly start.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Now we are going to start the session. I, Mahima Yadav, would like to welcome Dr. Anurag Jain, University School of Information Technology, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, Delhi. In his 17th year academic career, he has achieved many landmarks in the field of cybersecurity and machine learning. He has been supervising PD scholars, PhD scholars in the field of machine learning and cybersecurity. He has also published many research papers on machine learning in various reputed journals published by IEEE, Springer, ACM, etc. He is also the reviewer of many reputed journals published in machine learning domain by frontier publishers of engineering specializations. Sir, I would like you to start the session. Over to you, sir. Sir.
ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டேனா சரி பேர் என்ன எடுத்து செஷன் ஆரம்பிக்கணும்னா சரி செஷன் லிங்க்குள்ள போல முட்டிட்டு இருந்தேன் பார்த்தா அந்த நெட்டே ஆன் பண்ணல பழைய மெசேஜ்
Kindly wait. Expert start session very soon.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, just I could just delete this session because some network issues are there. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. I request host to enable my screen sharing.
Done, sir.
Yes. Okay. The slides are visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So let's start this session. So the session, the name of the session is this title, which I just discussed over is this credit card fraud and prevention and detection. Okay. So lots of informations are available in this section or in this particular topic. So before starting this session, I would like to know from the participant side, is there any fraud happened with you regarding this credit card or financial frauds? Just make it this an interactive session so that we can just understand what is this credit card fraud, what are the different detection techniques are there, what are the different research problems we could just take up for our research. So it will be a very interactive session for you if you just want to give the answer of my queries and just share the reviews as well. Any participant? Have you faced any credit card frauds or financial fraud with you or with your nearest and dearest, with your relatives? Okay, so I hope everybody is secured with this credit card fraud, but we cannot say that you will be secured or we will be secured forever, and the card fraud cannot be occurred with you with us. Okay, so it means we have to be careful about the technologies. We have to be careful about our the way of doing or way of just using this credit card or plastic fraud or financial frauds information are there. We have to just use carefully our mobile wallet. We have to use carefully our net banking transactions. So all these come under this financial fraud. Okay, and I will just discuss about the credit card or plastic fraud over here. So I request the participant, if you have any questions, you can interrupt me in between my lecture so that we can just discuss about those problems or those issues or those information about a particular slide to you. Okay, so don't hesitate to just interrupt me. I will be with you for 1.5 hours, so you can just get the knowledge, get the information from my side to you. So there's no problems at all. Okay. So, yeah. So what is the meaning of fraud? Actually, fraud means that illegal activity. Okay, so any illegal activity which is not permitted by the law enforcement agencies, the laws of any country, that is known as a fraud. And financial fraud means the fraud which occurs with the finance organizations. Okay, so if your money is coming out from your pocket without your information, it is a fraud, it is a financial fraud. If somebody is now hacking the financial organization's properties, okay, and taking the money from there, it is again a financial fraud. What is the cyber financial fraud? When the criminal is taking the money, the property of a particular bank with the help of the digital devices, then it is known as a financial fraud happened with the cyber informations or happened with the cyber properties or happened with the cyber media. Okay, so this is known as cyber financial frauds. Okay, so in this financial fraud, we will take about the plastic frauds, we will take about the money wallet fraud, we will take about the net banking frauds over here. So why it is required? So somebody else can ask the question, sir, it happens with me, let's suppose it happens with me, it happened with me, but I just got my money refund back within 2 or 3 days. So I don't have any loss because of this financial fraud. You don't have any loss. Directly, you don't have any loss, but a bank has lost. Bank has lost the money which he refunded you because you have just reported that crime within no time or within time limit over time period. So it means you will not get the loss, but your bank will get the loss. And if bank will get the loss, naturally the government will get the loss. Okay. So if government get the loss, you have to pay the income tax beyond your limit or beyond your prescribed limit. Anyway, indirectly you have to just pay the losses by your own pocket. So ultimately, losses with our country, losses with us also. So we have to be aware about, and mental harassment is also there, mental dissatisfaction is also there. So you will be mentally disturbed for that period जब तक कि आपको पैसा नहीं मिल जाता है. So that is another loss over here. So you have to be careful about how this cyber financial fraud can be overlooked, can be just overcome, or can be stopped, or can be mitigated at our end. You can say. Okay, so if you just calculate the losses happens in each and every month, it could be of hundreds of crores. It could be 500. So lots of financial losses. So anybody wants to ask any question? Or somebody, mics has been opened. So we just take a data how this cyber crime or this financial crime has been taking place. So with the help of card scheming, with the help of cyber crime, in cyber crime you just get the phishing attack, you just get the website attack, web hacking. So 20%, I think someone's mic is being opened. Somebody's mic is getting a noise over here. So I request the participants or other person, please mute your microphone if you don't want to ask the question. Okay. So card scheming is really happening. With the help of this card scheming, the 70% frauds are being taking place. Fund transfer, when you use a net banking or mobile wallet, then 50% times are there when this credit card, this plastic fraud has been taking place. Data thefting. It means your data has been going from your machine to the hacker's machine. 50% this happened. And when your data has been going from your pocket to the hacker's pocket, your confidential information are going from your control. I request host to please just take care about this noise over here. Somebody's mic is open.
Now, okay, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, so data theft is the data coming from your machines to the hacker's site. Okay, it could be your confidential information. Why that those confidential informations are coming from your mobile, your laptop, your desktop to the hackers? Because it's your fault. It's your fault. How? Because you are storing your confidential informations in your laptop, in your mobile phones. When I observe, when I notice, when I just got a survey, how many of the users are just storing their password or Aadhaar card numbers and all these things, or your bank passwords and bank numbers, bank account numbers in their mobile phones? You cannot believe that 95% users were there. Those are just storing their confidential information in their mobile phones, in their notepads of a mobile phone. They don't want to just learn all these passwords and the Aadhaar card numbers. It is, I should say, it is not possible to just learn Aadhaar card number as well. So just to sake of their safety or easiness, They just try to just store all these informations in their mobile phones, and as whenever it required, it just open the mobile phone and give that information to the concerned person. So this is a legal procedure. But if you are storing a mobile information in a mobile phone or data in a mobile phone, illegally it could be come out from your mobile phone. How is it possible? कैसे information mobile phone से निकल के दूसरे hacker से पास जाएगी? कोई बता सकता है? So my question is, a very simple question I'm asking. If you are just storing your informations or confidential informations in a mobile phone, what are the different ways to get the information from a mobile phone to the hacker or to the fraudster? How is it possible? Any answer, any guess? So 61 participants are there. Okay, somebody is writing on chat box. Okay, phishing, okay. Anshu Kumar is saying phishing. Okay, Robert Deputy. Any answers? Social engineering was done to open ATM pin. Okay. I request participant, please just unmute the microphone, because if I just listen your voice, then it will be good for us, because all of those person can just listen your views as well. So they will gain something from you also. Okay, malware is another word which has been given by Praveen Bhatt. And Anshu Kumar is saying about phishing and Robert Dickey. Okay. And Rahul is saying we authorize hackers indirectly. How Rahul? How? That is my question. That is my question. You can answer. Unmute your microphone. Don't worry. Don't. If you're giving an answer, if you're not giving the perfect answer, don't worry. We are not here to just penalize you. We are just only discussing.
Maybe email bombing and spamming.
Mary is not saying email in bombing and spamming.
Bombing, yeah.
Bombing, okay, email bombing and spamming. Actually, email bombing is not a perfect answer, because in email bombing, your mailbox has been just overflooded. And when the information has been overflooded, then you will be annoyed. You will not give any answers to that person. That person is not asking about anything from you.
But there are instances where we get them asking us about
yes.
your account, card details and things like that, right?
Yes. Now the US
when we are, sir, when we are downloading some unknown apps,
yes.
Knowingly or unknowingly, we give permission to read our data.
Yes, this could be one of the best answers from the participant side, or from your side. Actually, what happens now, we are just becoming smarter and smarter, because we don't want to just give answers on our mobile phones. The social engineering is now going on, but we are very much aware about if somebody is now asking about the information from me about my account. We don't want, we just cut that mobile phone or disconnect that mobile phone and then disconnect the call, and will not give any answers over there. So this is a direct method to get the information from your pocket. But indirectly, they are very much smarter. Fraudsters are very much smarter. They just want to take the information from your pocket without knowing, without getting the answers directly from you. How? So the answer I just got from GBP081. So I am not. So can you just give you provide your name? It is written as GBP081.
Sir, I am Tulsiram from Hyderabad.
Okay. So Tulsiram is there. So he has given a perfect answer, because what happens? When you just install any applications in your mobile phone, any Google app applications or Play Store applications in your mobile phone, you generally don't check the authenticity of that mobile phone, but applications, whether that application is genuine or not. Nobody wants to just check the genuineness of that application. I can give an example of a very popular application that is known as deepfake or deepface application. I think it is deepface. I think deepface applications are there, and very VPN applications are also there. Virtual private network applications are there. So those normally wants to surf the internet without just breaching their identifications or their identity. They normally use the VPN applications, virtual private network applications. Okay, but they are not aware about which application is genuine or which is not genuine. So what they do, they just search on the Play Store and search for a VPN application. Lots of applications are there. They just try to check the rating of that application and how many users have installed that application. These two things are there. But can you just understand a fraudster who wants to just get answer from your pocket? They are very smart. They are very much smarter than you. They just pay to the company. They just pay to the company. The company, which company? The company which can be helpful to increase the rating of that application. Lots of illegal companies are there, which normally does what? They does the task of increasing the rating of your applications. This is also possible. आप शायद नहीं सुना होगा आपने, but ऐसी companies हैं जो सिर्फ आपके किसी भी प्ले स्टोर किसी भी एप्लीकेशंस की रेटिंग इंक्रीज करने में, इलीगली इंक्रीज करने में वो हेल्पफुल होती है. दिस इज पॉसिबल. सो व्हाट यू डू, you check the rating of the applications or app. You just check how many users have downloaded that app, and then you also follow the same trend and install that application in your mobile phone. Now the deepface application, which I was talking a little bit earlier, that applications has the facility. You just take your snap, your picture, your photo, and that application will tell you how will you look like after 15 years, 20 years, 20 or 30 years. शायद आप लोगों ने यूज किया होगा. किसी ने यूज किया ये एप्लीकेशन? There was a application of deepface.
No, sir, never.
I think कुछ लोगों ने यूज किया होगा. The younger the participants have used that may use that application. So that application tells you how will you look like after 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 20 years, 15 years. And can you imagine that that application takes a photo from you, from your knowledge and from your consent, and they just store in their server and their database. Now they can just do anything, whatever they want to do with your photos. So this is also possible. Now another deepface problem. Yes, anybody wants to say something? Okay. So another problem was deepface was they just collect the photo of let's suppose a celebrity. ये भी आपने शायद देखा होगा. और वो क्या करते हैं कि वो इमिटेट करते हैं एक पर्सन की वॉइस को दूसरे एक पर्सन के जो वॉइस है या जो उसके कुछ क्लिप्स है उनको वो दूसरे पर्सन पे इमिटेट करते हैं. इट मींस दैट लेट्स सपोज मैं कहूं कि किसी एक पार्टिसिपेंट ने कुछ कहा, मैंने रिकॉर्ड कर लिया, एंड आई हैव अ पिक्चर्स ऑफ अनदर पार्टिसिपेंट, लॉट्स ऑफ पिक्चर्स ऑफ अनदर पार्टिसिपेंट. नाउ व्हाटएवर you have spoken, I can overlap those wordings on other participants' photos. ये भी शायद आपने देखा होगा, बहुत कुछ ऐसा हुआ, कहा किसी ने और वो यूएसए के प्रेसिडेंट्स के नाम पर और उनके फोटोज पर उसको पेस्ट कर दिया गया और वो ऐसा लगता था जैसे कि वो यूएस प्रेसिडेंट ही वो कह रहे हैं. So this type of problems are there with the help of these type of applications, because you never check whether that application is genuine or not. So this is the great or this is very popular problems with the mobile users. They don't try to find the genuineness of that particular app. So this could be one of the problems. And when you just have installed those apps could be your malwares. Now, what is malware? These are the malicious softwares which takes the informations from you and pass these informations to the fraudsters. So in this way, the data theft problems taking place. बहुत सारी ऐसी informations हैं. Okay, I can ask one questions to you. Is there any applications in your mobile phone which read the SMSs of your phone, so of your mobile? Is there any applications in your mobile phone which read
Truecaller.
Truecaller? Okay, very good. Any other application? So Raghav, you said Truecaller. I think most of you are using this Truecaller because this Truecaller gets the idea or takes the idea to you that who is calling, the known number who is calling to you. So it means if Truecaller is there, okay, I am getting some chat messages. I request please unmute your microphone and just tell the answer because it's very difficult just to open this chat box and see who is saying what. Okay, Alexa is also there. Rasta Gautam is saying Alexa is also there. Okay, yes. So Truecaller is there. Any other answer? Facebook is there. Okay. Okay, so lots of applications are there who takes the SMSs, who just read the SMSs of your SMSs list. Okay, it means that, अच्छा एक ऐसी एप्लीकेशन और था, इंडियन रेलवे का एप्लीकेशन भी था. बहुत सारे इंडियन रेलवे के एप्लीकेशंस हैं जहां पर आप टिकट्स चेक करते हैं, ट्रेन की बुकिंग करते हैं, ट्रेन की शेड्यूलिंग देखते हैं. And there's one application which just searches the PNR message in your mobile phone and check the status of a PNR at that moment. Okay, every day this that applications searches about a PNR message in your mobile phone and check the status at that moment. It means you have given the request to that applications, please check my messages. अब इस तरह के मैसेजेस का कोई अगर एप्लीकेशंस चेक कर रहा है, so now you can understand the weightage of these type of applications, the problems of these type of applications. If they can just check the messages of your mobile phone, they can check the notepad informations about your mobile phone. So this is the great problems. Truecaller check कर रहा है, Truecaller को आपने अपनी permissions दी, because how this permissions has been given to that person, to that applications, because whenever that application wants to get the permissions from your side, you give all the permissions to acquire your mobile phone. You give to search in the contact list, you give to read the messages, you give to access your gallery. आप सभी उसको एप्लीकेशंस, आप सभी उसको अपने परमिशंस दे देते हैं. आप चेक नहीं करते हो कि हम इसको अगर 1 by 1 अगर परमिशंस दें तो क्या होगा, अगर उसको परमिशन डिनाई कर दें तो क्या होगा, कभी हम लोग चेक नहीं करते. Because our habit is like we just rely on the others. They are the very genuine applications, so just to give all the permissions whatever they want. We don't think that what is the use of getting the access of our message list or contact list for that particular mobile application. Why that application wants to access my contact list? So these are the problems over there. So I recommend, I just give suggestions to you. Whenever you just install any application and that application wants some permissions from your side, first of all, deny all those permissions and then check what happened. If that application is working perfectly, you are safe. If not, then give the perfect access or perfect permission to that application. Let's suppose अगर मैं कहूँ कि आपके पास में एक इमेज का एप्लीकेशन है, तो आप उसको इमेज रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन की परमिशन दीजिए, ना कि अपने कॉन्टेक्ट लिस्ट को एक्सेस करने की परमिशन दीजिए. तो इस तरह से आपको वो इंफॉर्मेशन को आपको सिक्योर करना पड़ेगा, और वही आपको इंफॉर्मेशन देनी है जो जेन्युइनली उस पर्टिकुलर एप्लीकेशन के लिए रिक्वायर्ड है. एंड सेम थिंग विद द आइडेंटिटी थेफ्ट. Your identity theft could be go from your pocket to the another's pocket. What is your login name? What is your password? What is your mail ID? So all these informations can go from your pocket to the another basket. Okay. So any question you want to ask? Okay. So this happens in our country. So 1920 there was 690 crores financial fraud amount was involved, and 21-22 it is nearly 1500 crores. It is a prediction because come after this year, after the March 22. Okay, so 1500 crores could be there. The loss of this amount could be there. Okay, so this amount can be from your Paytm applications or payment applications, can be from a net banking, or can be from any activity which is directly responsible to get the money from your side to another side. It could be ATM hacking, it could be your mobile hacking, it could be your net banking hacking, and it could be anything. Okay, if you just want the perfect answers, or if you just want to get the actual information about all these cases, how many cases registered in India regarding this financial fraud, you can just go for the NCRB site. The site is there, NCRB. NCRB stands for National Crime Report Bureau. So NCRB site is there. So this NCRB sites tell about the crimes happened in our country and what are the information or what the actions has been taken on that particular crimes. How many crimes are registered, how many crimes are resolved, how many crimes are still under resolved status. So all these informations could be are there. And government is also just initiated has initiated lots of strategies over there to resolve the cyber crime cases. And there's a 5 years scheme is there, that is 5 years National Cyber Security Strategy 2020. Still it has to be implemented. So most probably in I think February or March 22 it could be implemented. So this is known as 5 years National Cyber Security Strategy. Okay, so government and the other organizations are also just taking pain to minimize or to mitigate the cyber frauds, this plastic fraud, this financial frauds. Okay, अगर पैसा हाथ से निकल गया तो naturally mentally loss भी है, mental loss भी है, country को loss भी है, nation को loss भी है, तो इसलिए इस financial frauds को काफी seriously यहाँ पर देखा जा रहा है. Now, so how this frauds can take in place with the help of cloning, your credit card cloning, and how this cloning can be happen or can be how this the clone can be created of your credit card or of your ATM card. I will tell you. There's a one site, there's a one dummy site you can say, by which the credit cards can be cloned or a fresh credit card can be created without the knowledge of any bank. All what you need only the subscribers' informations. You need the subscriber addresses. And all these addresses and information can be generated automatically. So that information we can just share in this session. So first is cloning. The second could be your Paytm KYC or KYC method is also very is popular right now. So you just get a call from the executive of that so-called bank or so-called organization, and just that executive will tell you, sir, I am just from this so-and-so bank or so-and-so wallet company, and your KYC is not done, so you cannot just use my Paytm wallet or my wallet and other net banking facilities. So just renew KYC or just get the KYC. So अगर आपको वाकई लगता है कि ऐसा होगा, ऐसा हो सकता है, तो आप KYC को आप renew करने के लिए उनको permission दे देते हैं. And what they want in the name of KYC, they just want your the Aadhaar card number, your mobile number, your name, your OTP numbers which you get on your mobile phone. अगर उनको OTP मिल गया तो वो आपको KYC ना करके वो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. So it means you have given, this is known as social engineering, because you have given all the informations to the fraudster, because you are not you was not aware about you were not aware about all these informations. Okay, so I'm not saying that you are not aware. Maybe your relatives, your friends are not aware. So after this lecture, I just feel that कुछ ऐसी इन्फॉर्मेशन आपको मिलेंगी जो आपको शायद ना पता हो, या आपको पता है तो आपके रिलेटिव्स को ना पता हो, आपके फ्रेंड्स को ना पता हो, तो आप जरूर उनको आप ब्रॉडकास्ट कीजिए ताकि ये इन्फॉर्मेशन जो है वो हमें उनको मिलती रहे. एंड देन अनदर प्रॉब्लम इज ऐप डाउनलोड, जैसे मैंने बताया. सो व्हेन अ लीगल ऐप कैन बी डाउनलोडेड, इट कैन जस्ट deduct some amount from your account or from your banks or from your wallet. Could be some problems by which a fraudsters can hack your informations with your knowledge or without your knowledge. OLX fraud is also there. किसी को पता what is OLX fraud? What is OLX fraud? OLX is a platform by which you can buy and sell the old properties. Any answer? What is OLX fraud?
No, sir.
Okay. Any other person? Another participant? Okay, so Rahul is saying that in this fraud, expensive things are at cheaper rate displays. No, it is not a fraud.
Not aware, sir.
Yeah. They request money to the seller. No, it is not. So to OLX fraud, when you just post any material or any device or whatever you want to sell out, you just upload that picture of that particular property. Property means the devices or whatever you want to sell out. So everyone or anybody can just check your post on OLX, and anybody can contact you because that person wants to buy that information or buy that property from you. Okay. और जब ये आपसे कॉल करते हैं बात करते हैं तो वो कहते हैं ठीक है सर आपने 10,000 दिया तो मैं 10,000 देता हूँ आपको, आप एक काम कीजिए मुझे अपना मैं आपको एक लिंक सेंड कर रहा हूँ और वो लिंक सेंड करके आप मुझे लिंक पर क्लिक करके मुझे आप लिंक पर क्लिक कर देंगे तो आपकी इन्फॉर्मेशन मेरे पास आ जाएगी. And then you ask why you are sending this link, because you are aware about this thuggy or this robbery or this problems. Okay. So there's a sense, sir, don't worry. I'm just checking whether you are the person or not. You are that person or which who has just uploaded this picture on OLX. आपको लगता है चलो ठीक है वो बात नहीं, वो मैं स्कैन दे देता हूँ उनको और वो अपना वेरीफाई कर लेंगे ताकि वो आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन जो पैसा है वो आपके अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर कर सके. Now that link is not meant for getting your identity from you to that person. That link is to transfer the money from your wallet to the another wallet, that person's wallet. This is the problem. अगर आपको कहीं पे करना हो पैसा तो आप क्या करते हैं, आप QR कोड को स्कैन करते हैं और आप मनी पे करते हैं. The same scenario is with these type of frauds. The fraudster has given you a QR code and say that and tell you that just scan this QR code. The money from my account will get transferred in your account. They say just opposite what happens. And when you scan that code and you just type and you write that 2,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees. जितना भी आपको चाहिए है वो आप वहां पर लिखते हैं पैसा, और आपको बताया गया है कि आप 10,000 यहाँ पर लिखेंगे तो मैं वेरीफाई कर लूंगा कि हाँ आपने 10,000 लिखे और आप ये पर्सन है. आप उसकी बातों में आते हैं, वहां पैसा लिखते हैं और उतना पैसा जो है वो आपके अकाउंट से ट्रांसफर हो जाता है फ्रॉडस्टर्स अकाउंट में. ये प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत ज्यादा हो रही है, बहुत ज्यादा हो रही है. ऐसा सिर्फ OLX पे ही नहीं है, और भी ऐसे एप्लीकेशन है जहां पर ये प्रॉब्लम्स निकल के सामने आ रही है. So ध्यान रखिएगा, every time whenever I just take the lectures, expert lectures or BP lectures, I recommend, I just give a suggestion that you must have not to share 4 informations with anyone. No, I should say there are 5 informations you must not share to anyone. Now, what are those 5 informations? These are your OTP numbers. The second is CVV number. Third is PIN number. Fourth is password. And now 5th is the scan code. the QR code which you are scanning. If you has to get the money, then there is no need to scan the QR code from your side. अगर आपको पैसा मिलना है तो आपको कोई भी स्कैन कोड को स्कैन करने की जरूरत नहीं, कोई भी क्यूआर कोड को आपको स्कैन करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ध्यान रखिएगा. So these 5 things you should not share with anyone, whatever your state of mind is. You are sleeping, you are waking, you are just going somewhere else, you are just coming from your office to your house and you are very tired, you are mentally disturbed, whatever the things are there, whatever the state of mind of you, you should not, you must not share all these 5 informations with anyone. ध्यान रखिएगा. और आजकल जो प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही है वो स्कैन कोड को, यूआर कोड को स्कैन करने में हो रही है, तो उसको आपको, अगर आप पैसा को आपको चाहिए, आप पे नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो आपको कहीं पर भी स्कैन कोड को, क्यूआर कोड को स्कैन करने की जरूरत नहीं है. ध्यान रखिएगा इस बात को, क्योंकि ये बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट हो रही है. ओके, नाउ हु वुड बी द विक्टिम of this type of frauds? Since you have not given the answer of my first question, that if you have faced this type of problems or your relatives have faced this type of problems, your known person has faced this type of problems, you have not given any answer, but we are vulnerable over here. The professors, it means the academicians can be the victim of this type of fraud. The medical practitioners can be the victim of this type of fraud. The models of celebrities can be victimized. The police persons can be victimized. The general manager can be victimized. Lots of methods are there. The reward point policies are there. They will give you reward points. When you just do some work on the websites, suddenly a message has popped up. The Paytm or the Amazon is giving 90% discount to you if you just buy today. This type of messages are there. कि Amazon जो है, Flipkart है, आपको 90% डिस्काउंट दे रहा है, आप परचेस करते हैं. And the property or that device is very much important to you. You just click on that link. क्या करते हैं, हम उस लिंक क्लिक करते हैं, और क्लिक करने के बाद में आपको Amazon लाइक स्ट्रक्चर्स दिखाई देता है, वेबसाइट दिखाई देती है, और आप पैसा पे कर देते हैं. वो जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है वो लेट्स सपोज 50,000 की थी और आपको 5,000 में मिल रही है. तो अल्टीमेटली अगर वो फ्रॉड है तो 5,000 रुपए जो है वो आपके अकाउंट से कट हो जाएंगे और वो चीज कभी आपको नहीं मिलेगी. सो दिस आर सम प्रॉब्लम्स जो नॉर्मली हमारे सामने निकल के आती है. ओके, सो व्हाट यू डू इफ यू जस्ट become a victimized over here because of these issues. So lots of options are there. I help 2 or 3 persons who just call me after this type of frauds happens with them. So they just lodge a complaint online, they just call the bank and they just call the RBI as well. If you just do these 3 informations or these 3 steps, immediately within a day or within 3 or 4 hours, your money will 99% will be refunded to in your account. Okay, so don't worry about all these things. अगर आप यूज कर रहे हैं तो नेचुरली कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकती हैं, पर प्रॉब्लम से कैसे रिकवरी करनी है उसका भी सोल्यूशन यहाँ पर दिया है. ओके, एंड अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स आर, आजकल लोग एक्सपेंसिव मोबाइल फोन्स को परचेस करते हैं, सेकंड हैंड परचेस करते हैं, बट वो चेक नहीं करते कि IMEI नंबर कहीं रजिस्टर्ड तो नहीं है, कहीं चोरी का मोबाइल फोन तो नहीं है. So for that issues, Delhi police has maintained a database that is known as ZipNet. Okay, so ZipNet mobile database has been shared with I think 8 or 9 states of India, so they can just check this type of databases whenever you just want to purchase a second-hand mobile phones. Okay, and you just check the IMEI number of that mobile phone which you want to purchase. If it is there in this database, you are not required to purchase that mobile phone, but that is a mobile phone of fraud. वो मोबाइल फोन किसी का चोरी हुआ, इसने रजिस्टर्ड किया हुआ, कंप्लेंट रजिस्टर्ड की है, उसका मोबाइल फोन हो सकता है, तो आपको परचेस करने की यहाँ पर जरूरत नहीं है. सो इस तरह के प्रॉब्लम्स भी ज्यादा हमारे पास आ रहे हैं. ओके, नाउ the apps which are important importantly to be removed from your mobile phones if you have installed those mobile phones. So you can check the VPN applications are there. So Cake VPN, Pacific VPN, eVPN, Beat Player, QR code scanner, Q recorders, music players, then tool Tipneter libraries. All these codes, mobile applications are there, which are not the exact mobile applications. They are the malwares. They just send retrieve bank data from your information from your mobile and send to the fraudsters. So आपको इस तरह के जो एप्लीकेशंस हैं उनको आपको यहाँ से अलग करना पड़ेगा और ये VPN बहुत ही कॉमनली यूज होने वाले एप्लीकेशंस हैं. Okay, one thing I would like to just tell you. मान लीजिए आप चाहते हैं कि भाई आपने कुछ बैंक की साइट को आपने सर्च किया, एक्सप्लोर किया, और आप चाहते हैं कि ये जो इन्फॉर्मेशन, जो भी लॉगिन पासवर्ड्स हैं, वो किसी के पास ना जाए. अगर मेरे सिस्टम में कोई मेलवेयर है तो उसको भी ये इन्फॉर्मेशन ना मिले. तो कोई ऐसा पॉसिबिलिटी है, कोई ऐसा मेथड है कि जिससे आप जो भी ट्रांजेक्शंस कर रहे हैं वो सेफ रहे? कैन यू टेल मी the method or way by which you can just save your typing habits? Any answer? Any answer from your side? I got one chat message. Okay, so my question is, if you're still surfing or exploring your, let's suppose, bank site, and you type login and passwords over there. Now, since your internet is an insecure channel, whatever the informations are going through this internet, that can be hacked by any person, any fraudster or hacker.
Using virtual keyboard can be.
So keyboard can be there. Okay, very nice, very nice. So let me just finish my questions to GVP010. So आप चाहते हैं कि भाई वो जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है, वो इन्फॉर्मेशन जो भी मैंने टाइप किया वो किसी के पास ना जाए, इंटरनेट के थ्रू पास ऑन हो, बट कोई हैक ना कर पाए, कोई मैन इन द मिडिल अटैक परफॉर्म ना कर पाए. तो क्या मेथड हो सकते हैं जिससे कि आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन जो है वो सेफ भी रहे और आप इजिली इंटरनेट को यूज करके अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन को ट्रांसफर भी कर सकें? So one answer I just got from Tulsiram ji that you can use a virtual keyboard. Okay, SSL is also there. Okay, very nice. SSL is also there. Okay. Any other answer?
HTTPS.
Praveen? Sorry, Praveen ji, I am not getting your answer.
HTTP.
STTP, that is SSL. That is secured server socket or secured layers. Secure socket layer. Okay. Actually, what happened? VPN. Okay, VPN is another answer which got from GVP042. Very nice. Okay. Another method, another way. Another way. Okay. So good. By looking at URL, okay, URL, you can just check whether URL is a fake, is a genuine URL or is a fake URL. You can do. Okay, very nice. Any other answer? Okay, so all these answers are perfect, but there's another answer which you just use whenever you do in the banking transactions, or you just going for the confidential transactions, so confidential exploring of your websites. Okay, the problem with this VPN is you don't have the genuine VPN with you. If you just want to get the genuine VPN, it is a paid version. पर आप शायद उसको पे नहीं करना चाहते क्योंकि बिकॉज आप जानते हैं कि जो मैं ट्रांजेक्शंस कर रहा हूँ इतने VIP नहीं है, इतने इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है, हम अपना पासवर्ड चेंज करते रहते हैं, सो आई डोंट नीड टू जस्ट परचेज अ परफेक्ट VPN। तो आप क्या करते हैं, आप इस तरह के एप्लीकेशन यूज करते हैं और वो एप्लीकेशन आपको पता है कि malwares हो सकते हैं, तो दिस कुड बी अ प्रॉब्लम। SSL is okay, HTTPS is there, HTTPS perfect. So HTTPS saying that whatever the information you are just sharing with your machines to the server, it will be shared, it will be secured with the help of some cryptographic manner. That's okay. But the problem is the person which is trying to check your internet habits and wants to do some man-in-the-middle attack. That person is checking whatever you are just exploring on internet. वो चेक कर रहा है कि हाँ आपने Amazon की साइट ओपन किया, आपने Flipkart की साइट ओपन की, आपने ये आपके बैंक अकाउंट्स हैं, आपके ये मेल बॉक्सेस हैं, वो सही चेक कर रहा। यस, नेचुरली वो आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन चेक नहीं कर पा रहा कि आप क्या ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज इट इज अ HTTPS साइट इज देयर, लेकिन वो आपकी हैबिट्स को चेक कर पा रहा है। वो ये
Browsing history.
Pardon?
Cookies, sir. Browsing history.
Browsing history check कर रहा है, yes. So that person can enter into your desktop or laptop and can check the cookies as well. So आपकी browsing history जो है वो browsing का आपके patterns है उनको check कर रहा है. So again the problem is there. अब Tulsiram just said that the virtual keyboard should be used. Yes, virtual keyboard can be used, but virtual keyboards only give the security of the passwords. That password you are not typing with the help of your keypad. It is not typing with the help of your virtual keyboard. Now, what is the use of this virtual keyboard? Because there may be, if let's suppose if you are going to explore your websites or bank website from any public place, from the cyber cafe, then this virtual keyboard is important, because in the cyber cafe, the machine which you are using to transfer the money from your bank to another bank or another person, that device can use the keyloggers. Now, what is keylogger? The keylogger is a device, is a software, or it could be hardware, which takes the keystrokes from you and store in the keylogger, and the user which installs this keylogger can check the keylogger entry when you go out from the cyber cafe. आपने जिस सीक्वेंस में भी कीज टाइप की होंगी, जिस सीक्वेंस में आपने लेटर लिखा, मेल का पासवर्ड टाइप किया, वो सभी उसी सीक्वेंस में ही उस कीलॉगर में एंट्रीज हो चुकी हैं, और वो जो पर्सन है वो पर्सन उस कीलॉगर को चेक करके आपकी इंफॉर्मेशंस को रिट्रीव कर सकता है. So keylogger, this virtual keyboard is just only to avoid this keylogger's problems. It will not avoid to enter the hackers in your machines or to get your information. तो अब थोड़ा सा छोटा सा एक यहाँ पर आप काम कर सकते हो. वो काम क्या है? एक हमारे ब्राउजर पे एक एक्सप्लोरर, कोई भी आप ब्राउजर यूज करें तो वहां पर कॉग्निटिव विंडो का एक ऑप्शन भी आता है. नॉर्मली आप क्या करते हैं, जैसे आपने कोई आइकन क्लिक किया, लेट्स सपोज यू जस्ट क्लिक ऑन द गूगल क्रोम, it will open up ordinary browsers in front of you, and when you check the browser's right hand side, there are 3 marks are given or 3 dots are given, and in 3 dots you can just go for the new incognito window or incognito window. It could be the shortcuts is also there, Control Shift N, I think. Control Shift N. Sorry. If you want to just check, you can just check. I can just wait for 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. So just open any browser, and on the top right side, 3 dots could be there. Just click on the 3 dots, you will get new window option, open new window, open new tab, and then incognito mode. Have you checked that one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it is there.
So this incognito window is the important for you whenever you go for the transactions related explorations from in your machine. Now this incognito windows give a feature that whatever you are transferring from your machine to the server machine, that URL machine or that the site which you are now surfing right now, the information will be only transferred to that server. No one can hack your informations. No fraudsters, no hacker can hack this information in between this transfer. So only the server by which you are just interacting, you and the service provider knows about your browsing history. No other persons can understand or can get your browsing history with the help of this man in the middle type. और ऑप्शन से वो अलग बात है, बट अगर इनकॉग्निटिव विंडो का आप यूज करते हैं तो आपका जो ब्राउजिंग हिस्ट्री है, जो आपका डेटा है, वो काफी हद तक सिक्योर हो जाता है. सो ध्यान रखिएगा, ये इनकॉग्निटिव विंडो का जो ऑप्शन है वो आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन आपसे शेयर करेगा, वो नेचुरल है. सर्वर से शेयर करेगा जिसका कि आप यूआरएल आपने टाइप किया हुआ है, जिस बैंक से आप इंटरेक्शन कर रहे हैं उसके पास रहेगी इंफॉर्मेशन. और साथ साथ जो आप आईएसपी यूज कर रहे हैं, जिसका आप कनेक्शंस, नेटवर्क कनेक्शंस यूज कर रहे हैं, आप इंटरनेट यूज कर रहे हैं, उसके पास ये इंफॉर्मेशन रहेंगी. इसके अलावा 4% will not be involved in this transactions. So this is incognito window options with there. So just make a habit whenever you want to use this type of sites where the confidential information can be passed on, you can use the incognito window options. Okay. So सिर्फ हाइट से आपको अपनी हैबिट चेंज करनी है, and you will be 90 or 95% safe with these frauds, with this cyber frauds. Okay. So any question you want to ask, you can ask. Okay. So Chinese apps are there which are which are just normally used for this cyber frauds or financial frauds. Okay. Now what to do then is when you just victimize with this type of financial frauds. So lots of things are there. You don't need to just go to the police stations. There's a online site that is known as National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal, NCCRP. आप इस साइट पर कंप्लेंट करें, फाइल कंप्लेंट is there. Now the government has given the instructions to the police department that whatever the applications are coming or report complaints are coming into this portal, you have to take the action on that also. Okay, so ultimately it will convert into the FIR as well. आप इस पर्टिकुलर साइट पे जाकर कंप्लेंट लॉन्च कीजिए, आपकी कंप्लेंट जो है लॉन्च हो जाती है, एंड देन यू आर फ्री कि आप थोड़ा सा इंतजार कीजिए क्योंकि आपका पैसा है वो मोस्ट प्रोबब्ली आपको मिल जाए. So 2 or 3 steps you have to just take whenever you just victimize with this financial fraud. First is just cyber complaint on air. आप चाहते हैं तो आप पुलिस स्टेशन जाकर भी कंप्लेंट कर सकते हैं. Then second is if you don't want to just go on this NCCRP site or portal, every state has their own cyber fraud portals, cyber cell portals. Now Delhi has this portal over here. This is known as cybercelldelhi.in. This is cybercelldelhi.in. You can just lodge your complaint here also, and directly from the complaint from here will be transferred to a concerned cyber cell of your area or your police station. So don't need to just rush here and there. कि आप problem कौन सुनेगा कौन नहीं सुनेगा. So whatever the proof you have, you just upload the proof in on the site. Just make a complaint here, and you will be safe. Okay, you are done your work. Along with this information, along with this complaint registration on this portal, you have to there's a second step also. You have to complain on the customer care of that particular bank जहां से आपका पैसा ट्रांसफर हुआ है. अगर पेटीएम वॉलेट से हुआ है तो पेटीएम वालों को कॉल करना पड़ेगा. अगर यूपीआई वॉलेट से हुआ है तो यूपीआई कॉल करना पड़ेगा. या अगर यूपीआई के आपको लेट्स सपोज को किसी बैंक की साइट से हुआ है तो आपको उस बैंक को कॉल करना पड़ेगा. तो उसको आपको रिपोर्ट जनरेट करनी पड़ेगी. आपको उनको इन्फॉर्म करना पड़ेगा ऐसा मेरे साथ में हुआ है, देयर इज नो फॉल्ट ऑफ माई ओवर देयर, प्लीज रिफंड माई मनी. आपको ये काम करना पड़ेगा. ओके. और उसके अलावा अगर लेट्स सपोज बैंक कुछ आपकी बात नहीं सुनता है तो देयर इज अनदर way that you can just lodge a complaint on RBI site. So RBI is also important. Okay, one thing is also there. You can just call to this helpline number. The helpline number is 155260. 155260. So this is a cyber crime helpline number. So if you are not in the position to register complaint online, then you can just call this number also, 155260. So this number is a national number. You can call from anywhere. It is a 24/7 helpline number is there. Now this site is UP Police Cyber Cell site. So now you can just think that each and every state has their own cyber cell website. You can lodge a complaint over here. Also, you can just call on 155-260 number as well. So ये भी आपको काम वहाँ पर कर सकते हो. So moreover, you are safe. Your money will be refunded in your account within a day or 2 days or two days. No issue at all. Okay. So this number 155-260 was launched on 1st October 2021. Okay. Now it is now working very perfectly. So this has been generated by this Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center I4C. It is under the Ministry of Home Affairs and situated in Dwarka. Okay. So आप चाहे तो वहां से भी आप informations ले सकते हैं. Okay. Now another problem: how your informations can be come out from your pocket. मैं जैसे बात कर रहा था कि आपने जो आपकी हिस्ट्री है, मोबाइल हिस्ट्रीज हैं, उसको चेक करके कर सकता है. कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि आपके नाम से कुछ अलग इंफॉर्मेशन या अलग कुछ परचेसिंग कर ली जाती है. हाउ? अब मैं आपको बहुत प्रैक्टिकल एक प्रॉब्लम बता रहा हूँ जो मैंने अपनी आंखों से देखा या मेरे सामने हुआ. क्या इंफॉर्मेशन प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम्स थी? वो प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि कोई मेरे साथ में कुछ बाइक परचेज करने गया. अब वो बाइक परचेज करने के लिए एड्रेस प्रूफ की जरूरत थी. अब वो पर्सन चाहता था कि भाई जो एड्रेस है या जो हमारा नंबर आए, जो गाड़ी का नंबर आए, वो नंबर इस पर्टिकुलर स्टेट का है. बट मेरे पास उस स्टेट का कोई एड्रेस प्रूफ नहीं था. तो उस कंपनी ने, उस बाइक डीलर ने क्या किया, जो भी अपने एग्जीक्यूटिव थे, आई डोंट नो वेदर इट हैज बीन डन विद द कंसेंट ऑफ कंपनी और विद द और ये सिर्फ उन एग्जीक्यूटिव्स ने किया, मुझे नहीं पता, आई डोंट नो. तो उन्होंने क्या किया कि भाई मुझसे सिर्फ नाम वगैरह लेके उनके पास में कुछ ऐसे आई कार्ड से, कुछ ऐसे एड्रेस प्रूफ से या कुछ ऐसे उनके पास स्टेटमेंट्स थे जहां पर उन्होंने मेरी इंफॉर्मेशन को कट पेस्ट किया. अब वो जो इंफॉर्मेशन से जो डॉक्यूमेंट था वो मेरे नाम से बन गया. मेरा नाम मतलब मेरे दोस्त के नाम से बन गया. और मुझे जो चाहिए था वो मुझे मिल गया. मुझे उस स्टेट का आरसी नंबर मिल गया, वो नंबर प्लेट मिल गई, सब कुछ हो गया और कोई इश्यू ऐसा नहीं आया. सो द प्रॉब्लम इज हाउ इट पॉसिबल. क्यों ऐसा क्यों पॉसिबल हुआ? इसका मतलब क्या है कि द डीलर्स पर्सन हैज सम डॉक्यूमेंट्स ऑफ द अदर्स यूजर्स और अदर कस्टमर्स जिसको वो इलीगली दूसरे कस्टमर के साथ में शेयर कर रहे हैं. द ओनली थिंग इज दे हैव टू जस्ट चेंज द नेम ऑफ द कस्टमर. दैट्स ऑल. कुछ और करने की जरूरत नहीं है. दे विल जस्ट चेंज द नेम ऑफ द कस्टमर एंड द फोन नंबर ऑफ द कस्टमर. दैट्स ऑल. Now, how it is possible? Because whatever the proof you have given to that person has not been signed by you. You have not written the purpose. Why you have given that document to that person? So that is a major problem. हम लोग सिम कार्ड्स लेने जाते हैं, वो हमसे आधार कार्ड की कॉपी मांगते हैं, आई कार्ड की कॉपी मांगते हैं, पैन कार्ड की कॉपी मांगते हैं और हम हमको दे देते हैं और हम चेक भी नहीं करते हैं कि हमने क्या किया और क्या कुछ लिखा. हमने ब्लैंक उनको एक फोटोकॉपी दे दी. एंड अबव ऑल somebody wants your documents on WhatsApp. सर आप मुझे WhatsApp पे ट्रांसफर कर दीजिए, मैं यहाँ प्रिंट आउट निकाल लूंगा. Can you believe? Can you rely on that person? Can you rely on that person? And you do you know the severity of this type of problems? If you just take a picture of your proofs, address proof, Aadhaar card or PAN card or your I card, now that particular picture will remain forever in the other user's mobile phone. The other person, the other executive can take infinite number of printout of that mobile, of that proof, and can use wherever that he wants. The sincerity, the gravity of this type of issues are very, very huge. ये होता है, ये बहुत जनरल प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. हमारे साथ में नहीं है, लेकिन जो रूरल एरिया से जो भी लोग आ रहे हैं वो ये काम बहुत कर रहे हैं. इवन हम लोग भी करते हैं. कोविड टाइम पे क्या हुआ, कुछ आपको कुछ अकाउंट्स ओपन करवाना है, कुछ आपको रिन्यू कराना है, कुछ केवाईसी करानी है. उन्होंने कहा सर आप केवाईसी के लिए आप मुझे डॉक्यूमेंट्स भेज दीजिए, हम यहाँ से प्रिंट आउट निकाल के वो लगा देंगे और आपका काम घर बैठे बैठे हो जाएगा. और आपने क्या किया, आपने अपना आधार कार्ड की फोटो क्लिक की, व्हाट्सएप पे आपने उसको पेस्ट किया एंड सेंड. अब सोचिए वो प्रॉब्लम्स अगर मुझे को आप देंगे तो कितनी मैं कॉपीज भी निकाल सकता हूँ. So this could be one of the problems. So the recommendation is whenever you give any proof on online or offline, आप उस प्रूफ पे आप जरूर लिखिए कि आपने किस पर्पस के लिए किस डेट पर और किसको दिया. ये बहुत जरूरी है ताकि वो पर्टिकुलर प्रूफ जो है वो सिर्फ उसी का टास्क के लिए यूज किया जाए जिस टास्क के लिए आपने प्रोड्यूस किया है, ना कि दूसरे टास्क के लिए यूज किया जाए. So I think this clear. अच्छा ये बताइए, ये पर्सनल एड्रेस प्रूफ जो जिसका भी था, क्या उसने सही काम किया? कैसे देना चाहिए? It should be given to the shopkeeper like this only in this format, or there should be some changes? Yes, any discussion, any answers from your side? So 80 participants are there. So I just want to know your views.
डॉक्यूमेंट में पर्पस वगैरह लिख देना चाहिए अपने साइन के साथ साथ, जो भी हमारा पर्पस है
वो मैंने आपको
डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है.
पर्पस आना चाहिए, वेरी नाइस. बट मेरा क्वेश्चन क्या है कि जिस फॉर्मेट में ये लिखा उसने, क्या ये फॉर्मेट सही है? सेल्फ अटेस्टेड, देन the name of the person is there, the date is also there. So whatever I has told you, it is written on this proof. So it is okay? Or something you want to append in this statements?
सर अभी भी क्रॉप करके यूज किया जा सकता है.
Yes. So Mahima Yadav is said that signature should cover little part of the ID. Yes, this is the things. The problem is क्या? Problem क्या है यहाँ पर? What is the problem? मतलब समस्या is there, but the समस्या is कि whatever you have written, it is far from this actual ID. There is a different distance between your written part and your ID part. Now the other person will do what? वो क्या करेगा? वो क्या करेगा कि इस पार्ट पे जो आपने सेल्फ अटेस्टेड लिखा हुआ जो रिटन पार्ट है आपका, वो उसको वहां पे पेपर रखेगा और फिर से फोटोकॉपी ले लेगा. यस, आईडी प्रूफ को वो मल्टीपल टाइम फिर से यूज कर सकता है. क्योंकि आपने क्या किया, आपने सेल्फ अटेस्टेड जो पार्ट लिखा हुआ है वो बहुत दूर लिखा है आईडी प्रूफ से. ये पेपर पे लिखा हुआ है, पेपर को काट के अलग कर देगा और आपका आईडी यूज कर लेगा, उसकी फिर मल्टीपल कॉपी करेगा. तो जो सोल्यूशन ये है. यस, तो बताएगा.
ओवरलैप कर दें.
ओवरलैप करके डॉक्टर ज्योति कुलकर्णी has said that it should be written covering document. Yes. So क्या करना है आपको हाफ यूज करना है, 50 यूज करना है. तो 50 यानी क्रॉस में आपको ये लिखना पड़ेगा. आप जो भी लिख रहे हैं उसका आधा पार्ट आपका आईडी प्रूफ पे रहना चाहिए, आईडी पे रहना चाहिए, और आधा पार्ट आपका प्लेन पेपर पे रहना चाहिए, ताकि कोई भी इसको राइट ना कर पाए, इसको अपेंड ना कर पाए, इसको मॉडिफाई ना कर पाए. अगर मॉडिफाई करे तो जो इंपॉर्टेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन आईडी प्रूफ से वो भी यहाँ से गायब हो जाए. सो आपको क्रॉस में इसको लिखना चाहिए ताकि इसको आप इस पर्टिकुलर आईडी प्रूफ को कोई दूसरा यूज ना कर पाए. सेंडिंग द इंफॉर्मेशन फॉर दिस प्रूफ ऑनलाइन, जस्ट मेक अ हैबिट कि आपको एक फोटोकॉपी लेने के बाद फोटोकॉपी पे आप क्रॉस करें, आप पर्पस लिखें और उस फोटोकॉपी को आप फोटो क्लिक करके आप कंसर्न पर्सन को सेंड करें. ध्यान रखिए, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है ये चीज, क्योंकि बहुत फेक फॉर्जरीज होती हैं. लोग सिम कार्ड्स यूज कर लेते हैं, सिम कार्ड्स को इशू करा लेते हैं और उसके फिर वो फॉर्जरीज कमिट करते हैं. ये बहुत ज्यादा होता है क्योंकि ऐसी चीजें 10, 15, 20 रुपए में जो शॉपकीपर्स हैं वो आपको दे देते हैं. Because the shopkeepers are not giving you hundreds of proofs, and if that shopkeeper is not gaining 20 rupees per proof and 100 proofs are there, 2000 rupees को ऐसे ही बन गए सिर्फ डेटा को ट्रांसफर करने से, शेयर करने से. तो ये प्रॉब्लम्स यहाँ पर हैं. ओके, सो अब तो टाइम एक्चुअली निकला जा रहा है, तो मैं आपको थोड़ा सा रिसर्च पार्ट पे लेके जाना चाह रहा हूँ उसका. सो लेट्स टेक सम स्किपिंग ऑफ द स्लाइड्स ओवर हियर. So just a minute. Any questions from your side? Any questions? Okay. Now, financial frauds could be web network frauds, could be insurance fraud, could be bank, could be telecommunication frauds. Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, excuse me.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Sir, can you throw some light on mobile usage, sir? How can we identify this
Fake application.
apps? Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, there are 2 or 3 options or 2 or 3 steps you should do before just installing these applications. First of all, you must check the manufacturer or programmer of that mobile application. When you just go on the Play Store or Google Store or your App Store, your Apple Store, you just check the application's manufacturer, app manufacturer or developer. If the developer or manufacturer's informations are there, then directly go to the website of that manufacturer or developer or programmer. It will be there. And then check on that website from where you can download this application and what is the icon of that application. These 2 or 3 steps you must follow whenever you just download or you are installing or configuring the applications in your mobile phone. What happens during this COVID? The CoWIN app was there. When the government has announced that the vaccination will be done with the help of CoWIN app and you have to register on the CoWIN app. And within 2 or 3 days, 20 or 30 CoWIN applications were uploaded on the Google app Play Store.
Yes, sir.
Then it means that now Play Store or Google Store is not checking thoroughly about the genuine app available in their stores. So fake applications are 100% there. So what you have to do, let's take the example CoWIN app. So now CoWIN app, for that CoWIN app, you have to just check the website where the information about the CoWIN app is given, or you have to check the applications app from where you are downloading the application. Just check the manufacturer or designer or developer of that application. Directly go to the website of that application and check whether the information about the application is given in this site or not. If it is given, then the information is also given about from where you can download this application and what could be the probable icon of that application. अगर आप स्टेट बैंक का लेट सपोज मैं कहूं कि आपको ऐप डाउनलोड करना है तो करना क्या पड़ेगा आपको? आप वेबसाइट पे जाइए स्टेट बैंक की, टाइप द स्टेट बैंक वेबसाइट, ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट, देयर यूनो ऐप इज गिवन. Now what is the sign of that UNO app? It is also given. It is also given UNO app can be available on your phone. Now type that UNO app and compare the UNO app icon with that application, with that Google Play Store application. Okay, and after you can just check the rating of that application. The users using that applications. These are the secondary steps. So 4 or 5 steps you have to just follow whenever you want to download the applications from the Play Store.
Play Store. Okay.
Okay. I think it's clear to you. Okay. So the financial frauds are there. The telecommunication fraud, insurance fraud. This also happens with the LIC policies, the insurance policy. This also happens with the SIM card issuing. So your SIM card has been blocked. Please give the information so that I can just unblock your SIM card. These problems are there. अच्छा, एक प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है? What is another problem? The another problem is when a LIC agent comes to you to fill your application forms. What you do? Okay. How many of you really fill the insurance policy form by your effort? आप लोगों में कितने लोगों ने ये एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म्स खुद फिल करते हैं? क्योंकि एग्जीक्यूटिव्स क्या करते हैं, सर कहते हैं सर आप अपना साइन कर दीजिए, बाकी इन्फॉर्मेशन मैं आपके आई कार्ड से, आधार कार्ड से जो भी अपने प्रूफ दिए उनसे मैं फिल कर लूंगा. ऐसा होता है या आप लोग फिल करते हैं? जस्ट डिस्कशन इज देयर.
मैक्सिमम सर खुद ही फिल करते हैं, लेकिन लोग क्या करते हैं, साइन करके छोड़ देते हैं।
तो छोड़ देते हैं। तो मैक्सिमम आपने गलत बोल रहे हो, मैक्सिमम फिल नहीं करते, मैक्सिमम तो ऐसे साइन करके छोड़ देते हैं। मिनिमम बहुत कम लोग जो है वो पूरा फॉर्म फिल करते हैं, क्योंकि LIC जो पॉलिसी इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी एग्जीक्यूटिव है उसके पास भी टाइम नहीं है। वो कहते हैं सर हम बाद में फिल कर लेंगे, और आपके पास भी टाइम नहीं कि हम 1 घंटा उस फॉर्म को पढ़ें, लिखें और उसको हम फिल करें। तो ये प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं। लेकिन उसमें प्रॉब्लम्स क्या है? उसमें प्रॉब्लम्स ये होती हैं कि आपका जो मोबाइल नंबर है या ईमेल आईडी है वो गलत हो जाता है, या तो ये डेलिबरेटली गलत लिखा जाता है, या वो बाय मिस्टेक में टाइपिंग मिस्टेक हो जाती है, उसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम्स हो जाती हैं। और होता क्या है कि जो भी मैसेज आने हैं वो आपके मेल आईडीज पे नहीं आते हैं, आपके SMS नहीं मिलता, और आपकी कुछ पॉलिसीज की प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं, और बाद में उसी मेल आईडी मोबाइल नंबर से कुछ फ्रॉड भी कमिट हो जाते हैं। इसलिए आप थोड़ा सा कोशिश कीजिए कि whatever you have written on the applications, you must written by yourself, and especially your name, your address, your mobile number, and your mail ID. It must be there with your own handwriting. थोड़ा सा एक हैबिट चेंज करने वाली बात है, अदरवाइज कोई ऐसा इशू नहीं है, आप बहुत सिक्योर हो जाएंगे। अगर थोड़ा भी अगर अनसिक्योर है तो आपकी सिक्योरिटी जो इश्यूज है वो काफी कम हो जाएंगे और आप बहुत सिक्योर हो जाएंगे। So this could be some recommendations while transacting with the financials with the help of some online websites, online services. Okay. So I'm skipping some informations over here. Okay, that's okay. Okay, done. Okay. Yeah. Ab, how do you change the habits whenever you get the money from your ATM machines? अब यहाँ problems ज़्यादा होती हैं. So another problems with the card cloning. The card cloning is there. So how this card cloning takes place? How the fraudsters can get your information from your pocket, because the card is with you. Even then, some other person has used your card. How is it possible? How is it possible? So the possibility is with your ATM machines. Sometimes the machines which you are approaching for getting the money, those are unguarded ATM machines. The guard is not there, security is not there. So what do fraudsters do over here? They just try to place some card schemers into those ATM machines. They just try to stick some keyloggers on the keypad of the ATM machine. Now this problems are there like this. Now this is a card schemer. This green part is a card schemer. When you insert a card into this the card scanner point, the card schemer could be there. Now this card schemer takes all the information from your card. What is the card number? What is the expiry date? What is the CVV number? What is the address address written in this card? All these information transferred to this card schemer. Okay. Now the fraudsters has control of this card schemer. After you just getting your money, you just come out from the ATM machine. Fraudsters enters into the ATM machine, place out this card schemer from here, connect with the laptop and get your informations. Okay. Now one thing. Second thing, the second important point which he just want from you, that the PIN number, because without PIN number he cannot do anything. So how is it possible? Now that fraudster places a keylogger into that ATM machine, ATM keypad. एक प्लास्टिक का, एक फाइबर का, एक प्लास्टिक का एक छोटा सा कीपैड आता है, वो इस पे प्लेस कर देता है, एक चिपका देता है, रबर का एक होता फॉर्म होता है, वो चिपका देता है. You are not aware about that keylogger. And whenever you type the PIN numbers, when you type the PIN number, that PIN number will be stored in that keylogger. और आप जब निकल जाएंगे तो वो इस पिन नंबर को यहां से निकाल के, कीलॉगर को यहां से निकाल के उसका पिन नंबर भी निकाल लेगा. So this could be the problems. And with the help of your informations, a card can be cloned. So what are the recommendations? What are the steps you have to take in care? The first of all, try कि आप ऐसे मशीन पर ना जाए कोई गार्डेड ना हो. अगर पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं है तो आप मशीन यूज कीजिए, बट मशीन यूज करने से पहले आप थोड़ा सा इस कार्ड स्कीमर को यहाँ से निकालने की कोशिश कीजिए. अगर ये इजिली डिटैच हो जाता है, इट मींस कार्ड स्कीमर का देयर, यू डोंट नीड टू जस्ट यूज दैट मशीन. इसी तरह से आप कीपैड पे भी थोड़ा सा इसको एम्बॉस करने का, स्क्रैच करने की कोशिश कीजिए. क्या ये स्क्रैच हो रहा है? अगर नहीं हो रहा है, वेल एंड गुड, यू कैन यूज दैट मशीन, इट इज सेफ फॉर यू, अदरवाइज उस मशीन को यूज करने की जरूरत नहीं है. And when you come out during just after transactions, you can just type some random numbers over here. आप रैंडम नंबर्स को यहाँ टाइप कर दीजिए, कैंसिल बटन, ओके बटन, ये सब जितने बटन उनको टक टक करके आप प्रेस कर दीजिए. तो क्या है कि आपका जो पिन नंबर है वो थोड़ा सा रैंडमली प्लेस हो जाता है. तो पिन नंबर हो सकता है कि अगर वो की लॉगर जो उसने यूज किया उससे सफिशिएंट स्टोरेज नहीं बची, तो जो भी आपने बाद में टाइप किया वो उसको ओवरराइट कर देगा. तो आप बहुत हद तक सेफ हो जाते हैं. So again, these are the habit which you have to just do whenever you go for the ATM machines for your amount, for your debiting your amount. So इस तरह से प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं. Another method क्या है, की लॉगर है, कार्ड क्लोनिंग करने का, कार्ड की इंफॉर्मेशन को सर्च करने का. तो आपको थोड़ा सा मैं एक वेबसाइट पे ले जाऊंगा. तो आई एम जस्ट unshare my this PPT and go to the another directions. Just a minute. Just a minute. So this PPT, yeah, this is a PPT. Yes. Okay, so the screen is visible to you. This is a pre-post SEO website. And in front of you, there's a name, this credit card generator. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
This is the site, pre-post SEO site. Okay. In this site, the credit card generator, the procedure of a credit card generator is given. Okay, what you have to do? Now there are text boxes are given. Which card you want to generate? The Visa card. What is the expiry? What could be expiry years? It's up to you. You can just go to random. How many cards information you want to get? The 5 cards. Okay, all these are default informations. Expiry month, it is given there. CVV number it will generate by random. Okay, if you want some specific CVV number, you can do. Now, click on the generate button. I click on the generate button. Now this has given a 5 options of your credit card. Now these are 5 options are given. 5 credit cards informations are given. The Visa card you have generated, the credit card number has been given, the holder names are given, the CVV number is given, and expiry of your card is also given. Okay, so this expiry is very much legal. It is the future years. It's not the past year. It's the future years expiry is there. Now this card number is also genuine, valid. You can validate this card number. Now this validation, there's an algorithm which is known as Luhn algorithm, LUHN. I will just tell you about this demonstration. So this card informations are given. Now, so the person, if you have a card cloning machine or hardware, you have to just type those information into that machine and your card will be generated. So actual card will be generated. Now you can use this card with any online shopping websites and it can be used. Okay, it is a hit and trial method. जरूरी नहीं कि ये कार्ड हर एक कार्ड आपको काम कर जाएगा, but possibilities are there कि कार्ड आपको काम कर जाए. Okay, some check marks are there and you have to just cross those check marks as well. अब एक प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पर क्या है? प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पर ये है कि you are an Indian citizen, लेकिन जो कार्ड्स यहाँ पे बने हैं, those cards having name of a foreigner. Okay, so let's suppose if you are a Nepali citizen and the cards which you have get from this with this facility is other foreigners or USA citizens. So there's another feature, you can generate the address as well. Now this is the fake address generator. Click on this fake address generator. Now in front of you, lots of countries flags are given. Okay, since this is the free, I am just using the free version. So very specific or very fixed number of flags are displayed in front of you. So let's suppose if I just want Nepalese or Nepali credit card. Okay, I click on the Nepal, then generate. Now, these personal details are given in front of you. This is a Nepali person. Address is also given. This state, gender is male. Phone number is also given. Age is also given. Height is also given. Hair color. Lots of informations are there. Okay, which bank have issued this credit card? Union Bank of Nepal. किसके नाम पे कार्ड्स है? कार्ड का नाम भी दे दिया गया. अकाउंट नंबर क्या है वो भी दे दिया गया. ऑल दिस इंफॉर्मेशन आर हिडन इन योर एटीएम कार्ड और क्रेडिट कार्ड और डेबिट कार्ड, जो भी कार्ड आपने जनरेट यहाँ पे किया हुआ है. ओके, सो डोंट थिंक दैट कि आपके कार्ड पे एड्रेस नहीं होता है. व्हेनेवर मर्चेंट स्वैप योर कार्ड, आपका एड्रेस भी सामने आ जाता है. ओके, सो इट इज रिटन ऑन द चिप. तो ये एड्रेस भी बहुत जरूरी है उस कार्ड में एम्बॉस करने के लिए, उसमें स्टोर करने के लिए. सो नाउ यू डोंट नीड टू जस्ट waste your time to randomly generate an address or a credit card number. Everything is available in this website. You can just copy that information and then emboss on the new credit card और उसको फिर बाजार के यूज करने की आप उसको कोशिश कीजिए. अगर आप उसको यूज नहीं कर पा रहे हैं तो उसके एक बेनिफिट और क्या हो सकता है फ्रॉडस्टर्स के लिए. वो बेनिफिट ये है कि वो एटीएम मशीन पे जाएगा जहां पर कुछ ओल्ड एज पर्सन जो है वो ट्रांजेक्शन करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं बट कर नहीं पा रहे. वो पर्सन को हेल्प करने के बहाने जाएगा और हेल्प करने के बहाने उनका कार्ड को स्वैप कर लेगा. तो इस तरह से भी ये जो इंफॉर्मेशन है वो यूज की जा सकती है. ओके, नाउ कम टू योर पीपीटी साइट. यस, सो एनी क्वेश्चन यू वांट टू आस्क? So let's skip all these informations here. It's not required right now. Yeah, this is a Loon algorithm. Just a minute. Yeah, this is a Loon algorithm. So this is LUHN, Loon algorithm. So this algorithm is used for credit card to check the validity, to check the authenticity of the credit card. So for validation of the credit card number, this algorithm is normally used. So what is the mechanism functioning of this Loon algorithm to validate your credit card? Now let's suppose your credit card is 16-digit number. Okay, it is a really 16-digit number, and in the 16-digit number, the first 15 numbers are representing some informations. What are those informations? These are the informations about your bank's issuer bank, about your account, and about a card type. The first number is a card type. This card is a Visa card, this card is a MasterCard, this card is a Diners card, this card is an Amazon card. So this information is given by this first number on the left-hand side. The next 6 numbers are the bank account or bank issuer identity, ID. जिस बैंक ने इसको इशू किया उसका नंबर यहाँ पर आ गया. And then the 8th number, the next 8 number are your account number, which is unique to you. And the last number is a checksum number, and everybody know about this checksum number. This checksum number is now checking the validity of the rest of the 15 numbers over here. So this checksum number will compare with this 15 numbers with the help of some algorithms. और उसके बाद में इस checksum numbers के जरिए हमें पता करते हैं कि ये आपका जो क्रेडिट कार्ड नंबर है वो सही है कि नहीं है. आप नॉर्मली चेक कर भी सकते हो. आप क्या कीजिए, आप कहीं ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग कर रहे हैं, अपना क्रेडिट कार्ड नंबर, एटीएम नंबर आप गलत फीड कर दीजिए. Suddenly it will tell you this number is not genuine or is not legal, is not valid number. So it means that कि जो भी ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग कार्ड्स हैं और मर्चेंट्स हैं वो क्या करते हैं कि वो आपका क्रेडिट कार्ड नंबर को वो बैंक से कंपेयर नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो ऑटोमेटिकली अपने आप से उसके नंबर को वैलिडेशन जो उसको चेक कर रहे हैं. सो इट चेक्स बाय विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस Loon algorithms. चेक कैसे किया जाता है? I will tell you about the checking method. The first 15 numbers are here. Just discard this last number, which is checksum number. इसको discard कर दीजिए. Okay, and then reverse these digits. The first will become the last digit, and last will become the first digit. So it was 589. Right now it was 455. The first digit. The last digit was 985. Now, when you reverse the digits, it will become 589. So 589, and you start from the right to the left side. So 589 and last is now 554. Then multiply the odd positions by 2. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 7 and so on. These even odd number place will be multiplied by 2. Okay, so it will become 10, then 8 will become 8, 9 will be converted to 18. The next 9 will be as 9 only, and 8 will 16 and so on. Then the numbers which are more than 9, the numbers which are more than 9 will be subtracted by 9 only. Okay, so 10 is more than 9, so 10 minus 9, that is 1 is here. 8 will be as it is. Okay, ये number हमने कभी इसको 2 से multiply नहीं किया था, तो ये number as it is ही रहेंगे. The third was 18, so 18 minus 9, that is 9, and so on. Okay, and now add all these numbers, yani all these 15 numbers. When you add these 15 numbers, you will get a 2-digit number over here. Okay. Now this 2-digit number, the first number, unit place number, is if same with the checksum number, then your card is validated. Your card is legal and genuine. अगर मैं कहूँ कि यहाँ पर 86 आता, और अगर कार्ड का जो checksum number था वो 5 था, तो कार्ड आपका यहाँ पर validate नहीं होता. So this is the method normally used to validate your credit card or ATM card number with the help of Loon algorithm. So I think it is clear to all, everybody, what is the Loon algorithm and how this will be checked. Your credit card number. This will check your credit card number with the help of the Loon number, and how the merchant, online shopping merchants check your credit card validity. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
So any questions?
Sir, excuse me.
Yeah.
So if the check digit and the sum of all the numbers, if they are matched, the last digit is matched,
Yes.
Is it valid?
Yeah, it is valid.
We have to check only the last digit.
Yes, so check only the last digit, that's all. So last digit of your card and last digit of the 2-digit number, which has been generated with the help of the rest of the 15 numbers processed with the help of this Loon algorithm. Okay, so 85, the last digit of 85 is 5. Any unit place digit must be matched with the last digit of your credit card number.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this is about your card informations. Now just come to the research side or some informations or some the techniques which normally use for credit card fraud detections. Okay, so I am not going in deeper or in much detailed side of this techniques. I will just go you the overview about what these techniques are and how you can use this technique. It could be it could be discussed by some other experts as well. Okay, so I don't have time to discuss about all these things. Okay, so I'm directly come to the that technique over here. Just a minute. Okay. Now these are fraud detection techniques. The first is Dempster-Shafer, इसको हम DS technique भी बोलते हैं, Dempster-Shafer theory and Bayesian learnings. The second is BLAST, 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 and ASA Shaw hybridization techniques. Okay. Third is hidden Markov model. Normally, people just ask the questions. So hidden Markov model is normally used for NLP purpose. So what is the use of hidden Markov model over here? It is also it can be also used in this fraud detection techniques. Okay, I will just tell you how. Then machine learning techniques. Naturally, machine learning techniques are there. If you have data set, then 100% machine learning techniques are very beneficial or useful for predicting the cases about the fraud. Okay. So what is Dempster-Shafer technique? So there are two scientists known as Dempster and Shafer. These two scientists were there. So these two scientists have generated a mathematical model, and that mathematical model is based on the belief system. Belief. Okay, so belief function is there. That is known as Bell function. So belief functions are there. Now this belief functions is based on some rules. How the system will believe on this particular transaction. So there's some threshold values there. If your transaction's value is less than this threshold value, it will be treated as a fraud transaction. If the threshold value, if your belief value is more than the threshold value, your transaction will be treated as a normal transactions or it's a genuine transactions. So how these belief functions will tell you about all these things and how this framework will work. So here, first of all, the transaction will be coming to your framework. Now these rule-based filters are there. Now what this rule-based filters does, this rule-based filter tells about the important features from your incoming transactions, like from where you are just doing transactions, what is the amount of this transaction, what is the date and time of this transactions, lots of informations are there. Okay, what is the previous history about your transactions, So these informations can be filtered out from this rule-based filter. And then this particular information will be transferred to an adder, and this adder is known as Dempster-Shafer adder, DS adder. So ये adder इस information को लेगा, and based on this information, an initial belief will be generated. So there's a formula. It's a probabilistic formula. What is the probability that you will use this amount for your shopping? जैसे मैं कहूँ कि अगर आपने आज 15,000 की शॉपिंग की क्रेडिट कार्ड के थ्रू, बट आपने पहले नहीं किया था कभी ऐसा, कभी आपने 50,000 की शॉपिंग कभी आपने की नहीं, या आपने इस डेट पर कभी भी 15,000 की शॉपिंग नहीं की है, कभी इस मंथ में कभी आपने शॉपिंग नहीं की. ओके, सो उसके बेसिस पर ये एक प्रोबेबिलिस्टिक फंक्शन बना के देगा, वैल्यू बना के देगा, और वो इनिशियल, उसको बोलते हैं इनिशियल बिलीफ. नाउ दिस इनिशियल बिलीफ विल बी एनालाइज्ड. If this initial belief value is more than the threshold, it will generate it as a genuine transaction. क्योंकि उसको पता है कि नॉर्मली आप ऐसा करते हैं, आप 2,000-3,000 की शॉपिंग जो है नॉर्मली करते हैं, आप हर मंथ करते हैं, तो उसने बिलीफ का जो वैल्यू थी वो आपको निकाल के दे दिया. And then this particular transaction will be stored in the good transaction history. So automatically it will be appended in the databases. If let's suppose the threshold value is the belief function has given a less value as compared to threshold value, it will come under suspicious transaction. Now, this suspicious transactions will transfer to the Bayesian-Lardner's framework.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this Bayesian-Lardner's framework will collect the information from your databases about a good transaction history and about a fraudulent transaction history, and then compare this transaction with the fake transaction history and with the good transaction history, and compute a probability function called probability value over here. Now this DS adder is taking only about your informations on that moment, but Bayesian-Lardner is taking the transaction history of you based on your previous histories, based on your banking histories, based on your other credit card histories, and then generate a probabilistic value over here. Now this updated belief will be compared with the initial belief, and then the score will be transferred to the score analysis part. Again, the threshold value is here. If the updated value is more than the threshold value, your transaction will be a genuine transaction, or it will be a fraud transaction. So it will give you a warning, it could be a fraud transaction. And same thing happens with your spam mails. वो कैसे स्पैम मेल में ट्रांसफर करता है, कोई स्पैम मेल्स अगर आती है तो कैसे वो स्पैम मेल में मेल बॉक्स में ट्रांसफर करता है. तो सेम फिनोमेना can be used in the mailbox spamming discriminations. So this is known as DS theories. Another one is blast and show hallucination. Again, is a modified version of this DS theory. This blast is for the local alignment. It is compare the informations with your transactions, and then again, if the information is not up to the mark, your information, your transaction history, where this time and amount is involved, it will be compared with the global alignment criteria. Sorry, and we will compare by the hashing algorithms. Okay, so I'm not going deeper about this technique. So if you just check it over here, whatever the transactions you have done, in that transactions time amount sequence will be generated. Your profile will be analyzed with your previous histories over here, and your profile score will be generated. If it is score is okay, then normal is there. If it is not, if some deviations are there, then this information will be transferred to a deviation analyzer. And this deviation analyzer will be compared with the fraud history database. Now here the difference between the DS theory and blast short technique, the DS theory takes about your good history database as well, but deviation only takes about the fraud history database. Because there's a fraud, there may be a fraud. So fraud must be matched with the fraud history. And then the score will be generated, and then the score will be compared with your threshold value, whatever the value you have taken for differentiating between normal anomalies. It will generate the normally transactions, or it's an anomaly transactions. Okay, so this blast technique is there. So am I have time 5 to 10 minutes to discuss about you, or should I stop here?
No, so you can discuss about that.
Okay, thank you. So this is very specific techniques about the credit card fraud detections. The next is the machine learning techniques. Okay, so I am skipping about what is false positive, what is true positive. I think everybody knows about this thing, but due to some lack of time, I have to just skip this information. What is precision? What is recall? What is specific sensitivity? What is specificity? What is the accuracy? So that is, I think, knowing by everyone. So I'm just skipping that thing. If just anybody wants, I can just tell you about all these things. So here, whatever the informations you have, whatever the machine learning techniques you have, you can use those techniques for detections. If you want to just do supervised learning, you can do. If you want to unsupervised learning, if you don't have a class labels, you can just go for the unsupervised learning over there. Okay. The important thing which I would like to just share with you about the specific technique based on this machine learning and as well as deep learning. So the objective of this fraud detection technique must be maximize the detection rate and minimize the false alarm rate. This should be the objective of this credit card fraud detection technique. And that's why your credit card fraud detection techniques are different from your normal techniques. Here, you have to detect the abnormalities of fraud as early as possible. अगर आपने ऐसा नहीं किया, तो fraud होने के chances बढ़ जाते हैं. So you have to detect as early as possible. You have to detect the maximum the frauds over there, and you have to minimize the false alarm. What is the false alarm rate? False alarm means false positive and false negative. The case was not fraud, but your framework has detected as a fraud. The case was fraud, but your framework has detected as a normal. So this should be minimized as possible as you can minimize. So these two things are there. And the third parameter is you have to detect as early as possible. The time constraint is also there. Okay. So the things which I would like to discuss with you, there are two techniques. Yes. These two techniques are there. Oversampling techniques. So this technique is to normalize your data set. The problem with the credit card fraud is there you will not get the real-time data set with you. No other bankers give the information about their customers for you for research or academic purposes because there's a policies. अच्छा जो आपको डेटा सेट मिलता है अब डेटा सेट अगर मान ली मैं आपसे कहूँ कि बैंक ने डेटा सेट दे भी दिया, let's suppose, okay, you get the real data set. What could be the problem over there? The problem could be in that data set, 99% data are for the normal transactions and 1% data is for the fraud transactions. ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि उन पर्टिकुलर बैंक के सिस्टम में ज्यादातर जो ट्रांजेक्शंस हुए वो नॉर्मल ट्रांजेक्शंस हुए. या होता भी ऐसा है. Abnormalities could be only 1%. अगर आपने 1 लाख 1 लाख क्रेडिट कार्ड यू हैव इशूड तो 99,000 customers are there who are genuine customers. They are not doing the fraud. But only 1,000 customers are there जो fraud commit कर रहे हैं. So only 1% customers are there जो वहाँ fraud commit कर रहे हैं. So जो data आपको मिला, रेट मिला, वो आपका क्या हुआ? वो biased data set हो गया, वो skewed data set हो गया. So now your task is to oversample, your task is to just minimize the normalized data set so that you will get a perfect or balanced data set. So for that, there are two techniques: oversampling and undersampling. So undersampling says that just discard some measured classes from there, and that is not possible because आपके पास 1,000 सिर्फ fraud थे, 99,000 आपके पास में genuine थे. अब उसको आपने करते 1,000 पे ले आए. तो जो meaningful data था आपका normal transactions का वो आपने discard कर दिया. So that is not possible. That is not a good technique for balancing your data sets. So another one is oversampling. In oversampling, it says that just try to generate the synthetic data for your frauds because that is a minority class. That is a minority class. So you have what you have to do. You have to generate some synthetic data in a minority class so that your minority class will become at par with your majority class. So this is a technique, oversampling technique, and nowadays these oversampling techniques are used for generating synthetic data and for just minimizing or balancing your data sets. This is the important part. Because बहुत सारे आपको ऐसे मिलेंगे, even the persons who are just doing the machine learning or implementing machine learning technique for disease detections, उनको भी डेटा सेट मिलता है, वो भी आपका प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करने वाला डेटा सेट होता है, तो वहां पर भी आपको उसको बैलेंस करना पड़ेगा. So there are two techniques which are normally used for this oversampling. The first is known as VAE. This is known as VAE. Now VAE stands for variational encoders technique. This is known as variational encoder or auto-encoder techniques. The another one is known as GAN technique. It is known as generative adversarial networks. These two techniques are based on the deep learning networks. Now these two techniques use the deep learning network along with the machine learning techniques. So it's a hybrid techniques. So जो भी ये क्या काम करते हैं, जो भी हमारे सैम्पलिंग्स यहाँ पर हो रही हैं, जो भी आपका आर्टिफिशियल डेटा सेट जो क्रिएट हो रहा है या जो सिंथेटिक डेटा यहाँ क्रिएट हो रहा है, उस टेक्निक की जेन्युइननेस चेक करने के लिए हमें इन टेक्निक्स को यूज करना पड़ता है. और ये टेक्निक्स को यूज करने की जो लर्निंग मेथड हमारे पास है वो है न्यूरल नेटवर्क. और स्पेशली यहाँ पर CNN को हम यूज करते हैं इस GAN नेटवर्क्स में और इस VAE नेटवर्क्स में फॉर जनरेटिंग अ सिंथेटिक डेटा. नाउ द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इज हियर, what should be the objective of this model? So now this model, VAE model and GAN model, is generating a synthetic data or new examples. Now these examples are not just plausible, but it should be indistinguishable from the real examples. ऐसा ना हो कि जो डेटा आपके साथ डेटा पहले से था वही जनरेट होते चले गए, तो कोई फायदा नहीं, कोई मतलब नहीं होगा, वो तो आपका डुप्लीकेट हो गया. सो जनरेटिव जो मॉडल्स होते हैं उनको हम लोग क्या करते हैं, वो जनरेट भी करें और साथ साथ जनरेट जो डेटा सेट कर रहे हैं, डेटा कर रहे हैं, वो डिफरेंट होने चाहिए फ्रॉम रियल एग्जांपल्स. दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ दिस टाइप ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स. सो जनरेटिव और VAE ये होते क्या है, नॉर्मली हम बात करें तो होता क्या है, बहुत सिंपल सा यहाँ फिलॉसफी है. फिलॉसफी क्या है कि अगर GAN की हम बात करें जिसको हम बोलते हैं जनरेटिव एडवर्सरियल नेटवर्क, these networks are the combination of supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Why? Your supervised learning is known as, अगर मैं बात करूं, your supervised learning, your supervised learning is known as predictive models approach. They normally predict your classes. You have a class. You have got two classes over there, fraud or not fraud. Now this supervised learning will generate the predictions model to predict about a particular data set to belong to which class, fraud or not fraud. So this is known as predictive model. Whereas unsupervised learning known as descriptive model. It describes about the clusters, it describes about the nature of the unknown data based on your clustering techniques. So these are not predictive techniques, these are the descriptive technique. Okay. Now your supervised learning also known as discriminative technique. Was discriminating between two classes. Either it should be fraud, it should be not fraud. Okay. So this discriminative word comes from your supervised learning. So whatever the classes or data you have in your data set, supervised data set, your model will be learned with the help of those data set and generate some discriminative model over there. Now, when you go for unknown data to check whether it is a fraud or not fraud, now this discriminative model will tell about this is a fraud data or this is not a fraud data. So अब आपका वहां पर जो data set है आपका वो increase होना शुरू हो गया. Okay. So ये चेक करना कि नॉट फ्रॉड के लिए डेटा कौन सा है, हम डिस्क्रिमिनेटिव मॉडल यूज करते हैं, और जनरेट करने के लिए हम लोग अनसुपरवाइज्ड मॉडल यहाँ पर यूज करते हैं. ओके, वो जनरेट कर रहा है. अगर मैं कहूँ कि भाई आपके पास में एक क्लासरूम है, उस क्लासरूम में कुछ बच्चे हैं, आप उनको बाइफरकेट करना है या उनको क्लासिफाई करना है या उनको आपको क्लस्टर्स बनाने हैं और क्लस्टर बना के आपको क्वालिटी पता करनी है कि ये क्लस्टर किस बेसिस पे बना, तो वहां पर आप अनसुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग को यूज करेंगे. और जब नया बच्चा आएगा तो नए बच्चे के हिसाब से वो नया बच्चा किस क्लस्टर्स में जाएगा, तो वो ये जो मॉडल है वो जनरेट करेगा उस पर्टिकुलर स्टूडेंट की प्रॉपर्टीज को. तो ये जनरेटिव मॉडल जो है वो हमारा GAN में और VAE में यूज हो रहा है टू जनरेट अ सिंथेटिक डेटा. और जनरेट होने के बाद में ये डेटा जो है वो इंडिस्टिंग्विशेबल है विद द रियल डेटा, उसके लिए हम लोग यहाँ पर डिस्क्रिमिनेटिव जो मॉडल है उसको हम यहाँ पर यूज कर रहे हैं। ओके, सो टाइम इज वेरी लेस, सो मैं थोड़ा सा यहाँ पर जो भी आपको बता दिया, बट इसको बहुत ही हम लोग डिटेल में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। इफ आई हैज गेट मोर टाइम इन अनदर sessions, so definitely I will just tell you about this discriminative and generative models. Okay, so with these words I just stop my session over here, and if you have any questions, please ask. Any question you want to ask? Okay, so I stop my session here. So I think there is no questions at all from the participant side. Okay.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful session provided by you, sir. You have enlightened us with the knowledge about the credit card fraud prevention and detection. I would like you to thank you for sharing your precious time and knowledge with us on behalf of my team and everyone present in the session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Thank you. And thank you all the participants to listen very seriously about my lecture. Thank you.
It was a wonderful session by you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So participants, there will be a break. Our next session will start by 2:30 p.m. See you also now.